Hello there everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I am going to talk about a Lego Legends of Chima theory video, or I suppose a what if scenario. Obviously today this video was recommended by a special viewer. This video was recommended by King of Creation 9644, and he suggested if Crooler never ran out of pursuer plans. Obviously this is a Lego Chima theory video, or I suppose what if scenario. Obviously if Crooler never ran out of pursuer plans, Cragger would have remained her puppet, reshaping Chima's destiny into a darker, more tyrannical future ruled by the crocodile tribe. Obviously Crooler and Cragger's complex bond and backstory. So Crooler, the cunning princess of the crocodile tribe, was born seconds before Cragger, but denied the throne due to the tradition. This fueled her resentment and ambition. Obviously, later down the line, she actually had these, I suppose, precision plans. These plans that actually fueled her aggression even more, and that's how she could actually even, control her brother, which is kind of, I suppose, unethical, right? Imagine just controlling your brother or your siblings. I mean, Cragger, her younger brother, was initially kind-hearted and noble. He was the best friend of Levada Line. However, Crooler used pursuer plans, a hypnotic flora, to manipulate him into becoming a ruthless warlord and tyranner, I think. Anyway, their sibling rivalry and Crooler's manipulation were central to season 1. Where Cragger, I suppose. Kruger, man, this is Freddy Krueger all over again. No, just kidding. Where Cragger led attacks against other tribes into her influence. Obviously, Cragger and Crooler, they're both crocodiles. So obviously, you got plenty of, I suppose, names inspired by crocodiles. I suppose like the C for Cragger, the C for Crooler from crocodile. I think it's kind of like a tongue twister there. Like I said, like Kruger, man, this is not like obviously that horror movie from the 80s. But anyway, I'm sidetracking here. Anyway, alternate timeline. Kruger's endless supply of pursuer plans. In this reimagined arc, Crooler never runs out of pursuer plans. Here's how that changes everything. So, permanent control over Cragger. Cragger remains under Crooler's spell, never regaining his autonomy. The crocodile tribe becomes increasingly aggressive with Crooler, yeah, bro, this is why I just said it, with Crooler as the true power behind the throne. Anyway, without Cragger's redemption, the alliance of tribes, lions, eagles, crocodiles, etc., obviously rhinos and beavers and bears, fails to unite. Obviously, the sacred chief falls into crocodiles' hands, leading to ecological imbalance and spiritual decay. Rise of the Crocodile Empire. Crooler expands her influence, possibly using the plans on other leaders, just like obviously Griffiths from the Lion tribe, or even, I guess, I think his name is Igor or Ewald from the Ego tribe. Obviously, she could develop a chi-infused version of the plant, making them more potent and harder to resist. Obviously, Lavelle heirs form an underground resistance. They seek ancient knowledge or allies from the outlands to counter Crooler's botanical mind control. A new character, perhaps a mystic or rogue crocodile, develops an antidote. That could be really interesting. Oh boy. Yeah, that could be like an alternate version of like Lavertus, right, from the Outlands. I think that could be really cool, right? So perhaps a mystical rogue crocodile. Yeah, that could be somehow very interesting to see. Cragger breaks free and must confront horrors he committed under Crooler's influence. So the plants mutate or become unstable, threatening Crooler herself. Chima's tribes must unite to stop a new threat, sentient plants that feed on chi and control minds. Ooh, that is very, very menacing, right? So Crooler's unchecked ambition shows how power without empathy leads to ruin. Cragger's struggle reflects the pain of betrayal and the strength of not giving up. The pursuer plants symbolize nature's power to heal or harm, depending on intent. This alternate arc could evolve into a darker, more mature sequel series, Legends of Chima, Reign of the Roots. That's an interesting title, focusing on physiological battles, redemption, and ecological themes. It could introduce new tribes like insectoids or fungi. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. Imagine a wasp tribe or a fly tribe. That could be very, very cool. Holy shit. I still remember that there is like a Lego minifigure for like a fly, right? I think there's one for like a bee, but I'm not quite sure about a wasp though. Obviously, we have that one from Marvel, but I don't think that quite suits it, right? But obviously, this could explore deeper lore around chi and ancient plant magic. I think, obviously, a fungi tribe like mushrooms. I don't think we've had like a plants type tribe in Chima. Obviously, we had like, what's the closest that will get to that? I think. Yeah, no, there are not, I think, fungi tribes. We have the plant eater plans from season 2. Obviously, the outlined season with the, I guess, yeah, the man eater plants from obviously the, oh boy, the, what's it called, the outlands, yeah, right. So that could be interesting, but like a fungi tribe, like a mushroom tribe. Oh boy, I think plenty of cool stories could come from that. Obviously, I'm not quite sure if those mushrooms were were to have like ancient powers or something, but anyway, let's just let's get inspired by those insectoid like tribes, right? Like a fly tribe or a wasp tribe could be very, very cool, or maybe like a beetle tribe could be really cool, right? Obviously, we got the beavers, and they're like very like they're hardworking folks, right? So I think obviously, like if you were to have like an ant tribe, that they were to communicate in like some kind of like, I don't know, communication. I'm not quite sure. Like an ant tribe could be very, very cool, right? Or like a wasp tribe. Obviously, that's really cool, right? That's a very interesting idea there. So obviously, if you were to expand this in like an arc, this would be Chima under Crooler's reign. So Act 1, the rise of the Crocodile Empire. Crooler perfects a method to cultivate pursuer plants year-round using chi-infused swamp chambers. That could be an interesting usage of like the chi, right? I think the most important thing about this is that in the original series, Crooler ran out of these plants and she wasn't able to get more. But now, obviously, thanks to Chi, she's able to get even more. So year round, that's a really interesting story there. Cragger, permanently under her control, leads brutal campaigns against the lions, the eagles, and the gorilla tribes. Obviously, the antagonists of their tribe, I suppose. Crooler begins experimenting with cross-species precision, testing plants on other tribe leaders. Laval, Eris, and Gorzan form a covert alliance called the Flame Pact. That's an interesting name. To counter Crooler's tyranny. Would the Phoenix be involved? I'm not quite sure about that, but I think that could be an interesting way of using the Phoenix in this story, right? I think that could be somehow, some way very interesting. They discover ancient scrolls in the Rhino's tribe archives that hint at a forgotten tribe immune to mind control, the Lotus tribe. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I think because the gorillas are into plants, are into flora and fauna, I think somewhere in their library, we haven't seen like their library yet, so I think the gorillas or the eagles, one of the both, right, could be an interesting usage. I think the gorillas even. I think the eagles have had their chance to shine, and I think the gorillas could be an interesting way to, get them involved into the story, right? Because the gorillas are very much into plants. I suppose their nicknames are like the hippies of Chima, right? They're into plants and into like whatever is happening with the earth. So I could think that they could be important as well. So anyway, this group embarks on a quest to find the Lotus tribe and unlock their secrets, obviously. So, despite the plan's influence, Cragger begins experiencing flashbacks or flashes of guilt and memory. A mysterious figure, possibly his mother or a vision from the Chi realm, appears in dreams, urging him to break free. Cragger secretly begins sabotaging Crueller's plans, leading to a slow unraveling of her empire. So there we go. I think the Lotus Tribe, or whatever you want to call it, long hidden in the misty marshes, returns with anti-precision flora and spiritual knowledge. That could be really interesting. Imagine a tribe having these kind of like, I guess, anti-precision plans. Obviously, we have the precision plans that Crueler uses, but what if there was a tribe that actually uses the switcheroo and that, I think it could be really, really interesting. I'm not quite sure which tribe that could be. Obviously, like I said, insectoid tribes could be really interesting to use, like flies, wasp, or maybe beetles. I'm not quite sure. Could be really cool. They teach this group how to resist the plants and purify corrupted chi. That could also be like obviously the phoenix or whatever. But let's just say that this happens after season 3. Happens after the Fire Wings saga, I suppose. So anyway, Crueler betrayed her own creations. Mutated pursuer plants faces exiles. Ooh, that could be really cool, right? A mutated plant with chi-infused powers. That could be an interesting twist. In this twist, she joins the Flame Pact, or this group that obviously have the main characters, to stop a greater threat, the Verdant Maw. Or suppose, I guess, this plant eater plant or this man-eater plant, a sentient plant hive born from her experiments. Okay, yeah. Cragger becomes a symbol of healing and unity, leading efforts to restore balance. He's crowned High Guardian of Chi, or I suppose one of the guardians or the warriors of the Chima team, obviously overseeing its ethical use across all tribes. So there we go. Alright, obviously the main characters, Crooler, Cragger, Laval, Eris, Gorzan, Rogon, and many other ones like Platvik 2. And Warres, obviously can't forget about him because Warres is the GOAT. So there we go. Obviously Crooler is this manipulative sister, fallen tyrant turned reluctant ally. Cragger, puppet warlord, redeemed leader and spiritual guardian. Laval, heroic lion prince, founder of the group, I suppose, or this new pact, tribal unifier. Eris is the ego strategist, chi scholar and resistance tactician, protector of the Lotus Tribe and nature's balance. So obviously this could be called Roots of Rebellion. That's a really cool title, not going to lie. I just came up with it. I think that's a really interesting title. It's more darker, more mature, obviously filled with control, redemption, ecological ethics, right? So this anti-mind control tribe could be insectoids like chi scavengers or fungi tribes, obviously. Obviously, the new, I guess, areas or the new, I guess, settings where this story could lead into, or this story could go into, are like overgrown ruins, glowing chi flora, tribal tattoos, ancient tech from long time ago. I think that could be a really nice inclusion. So obviously in this expanded Chima timeline, the Phoenix, Tiger and Leopard tribes, known collectively as obviously the Fire tribes, rise as guardians of balance and spiritual power, opposing Crueller's reign and reshaping the fate of the realm. Obviously the Phoenix went into the sun, obviously I think never to come back again, but obviously when Chima needs them the most, they come back, right? It's just like, I suppose, the legend beasts, but obviously they're immortal beings who oversee the flow of chi and maintain cosmic balance. And obviously if Crueller were to have this balance obviously destroyed, I think Fluminix, wise and powerful leader of the Phoenix tribe, capable of purifying corrupted chi, could be a very essential ally to this brand new team. Obviously, Flying Phoenix, Flame Bastion, a floating fortress above Mount Kavora, could help them out. Obviously, their abilities are flight, fire manipulation, and chi purification. Obviously, we also have the Tiger tribes. Can't forget about that. Cormac, right? Or Tormac, yeah, Tormac and Layala, fierce protectors of the wilderness, known for stealth and strength. Speaking of the wilderness, could possibly, obviously, Could this lead into like a Lego Ninjago crossover? That's really interesting. Obviously, with Raz coming from the wildness, obviously Raz is the I guess the main antagonist of the Lego Ninjago Dragons Rising seasons. I think that could be really cool, not going to lie. Obviously, key members are Tormak, Tracker, and Taser, I think those are the names of the other tigers, with Layala, maybe, obviously, the main antagonist of Lego Ninjago 2. Once protected by the Phoenix and granted immortality while under their care. Obviously, they have plenty of abilities and possibilities to do in the series, like tunnel warfare, fire claws, and tactical ambushes. We also have the leopard tribe, can't forget about them, agile scouts and spiritual warriors like Lundor, a mystic with deep ties to elemental fire, speed, camouflage, and chi channeling through dance-like combat. Obviously, that is very cool, right? I think that could be a really interesting story to tell. Obviously, this video is quite longer than I expected. I normally make, I guess, shorter videos talking about these Lego Chima what ifs, but I just had so much fun to theorize, to come up with stories, or maybe like alternate endings, versions, or meanings, or thoughts about this brand new season. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of this video. Obviously, this video comes from the idea of King of Creations 9444, I think. I just don't really have your name written here, but obviously King of Creations, he's the guy, he's the goat who came up with this story. I had a blast. I had so much fun creating this brand new ideas, or these brand new ideas or stories. I just, come up with recommendations, guys. I take every single offer. Obviously, if they're doable to do, if they're well enough to do, I'll make a video about him. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will check you later. Goodbye, everyone, or should I say for Chima. Goodbye, everyone.
Brother, I have something that will cheer you up.
Forget it, Crooler. I'm not attacking the lions. You're right. I know what we have to do now. Destroy the lions!